What up, fam? What up, my wholesale community family? Listen up today. I got a very, very special guest, man. And some of you might have already know him because he is a superstar. He's all across social media, changing people's lives, dude. This guy have made a huge impact on not just thousands, hundreds of thousands, and millions of people's lives, man. And I get a pleasure to call him as a friend and get to bring him on here to share him with those of you who don't know this cat. Listen, if you want a great stories, started from the bottom, now he's at a 7-figure real estate entrepreneur. Dude, you guys are about to get blown away. So no further ado, dude, Q, what up, playa?
Man, it's so good to see you again, Khang. Really, it's awesome, man. Like, really, I feel like we've been collaborating a lot behind the scenes, and I'm honored that you'll have me on your channel and on your podcast. It means a lot to me, bro, really. And yeah, I'm here to serve, dude. So yeah, my name's Quinton. Guys, I'm from San Antonio, originally born in Cleveland. I've been in real estate investing for over 11 years now. Khang was one of the first guys I ever followed on social media. And it's just honestly so crazy to even be here doing this with you guys. Like, it's awesome. Like, dreams come true type thing, man. First time I ever met Khang was at a big real estate event. He had a whole circle of people around him. And if you guys ever meet Khang in real life, if you ever get the opportunity to shake this man's hand, he's the same person on and off the camera. The energy is so contagious. And I had to know who he was. You know, so I got the opportunity to see him speak on stage in front of a few thousand people. And this was at a time when I think a lot of people didn't really know about the industry.
Correct.
And I said, man, I got to meet that guy one day. And here I am, dude. Like, really, dreams come true. It's such a blessing.
Dude, and listen, man, you know what, man? The honor is right now is really all mine. Like, this cat, bro, is this cat is a beast. And what I mean by a beast, dude, I have never met such a go-giver. Dude, I've never met such a go-giver. Listen, I have network. I have been in mastermind. I've been around others, you know, entrepreneur, real estate investor, 7-figure, 8-figure. But I can tell you, dude, this guy he's busy, but he's willing to give me the time of my day, not just to help me, but to say, Khang, I can come in and just do it for you. And I said, what? You're going to do it for me? Dude, I'm telling you, man, that's like the next level of just go-giver. And for those of you who's watching this video right now, I just want to let you know that, you know, when Q said that, hey, I get to be on here with Khang, dude, I said the same thing. I get to be on here with Q. And for those of you, if you don't quit, if you focus on your goals, your dreams, and you just pursue, my friend, and you just stay committed and lock in, one day you're going to be on an interview with Q. You're going to be on an interview with me. I mean, Q is changing lives, and he's bringing students that's coming on. That's he bring in under his wings, and they're closing deals, and they say the same thing. And I'm telling you guys, quitter never wins. Winners never quit. And winners, we only want to play with winners, baby. Hey, so Q, man, dude, you are a beast, bro.
I appreciate you, bro. It wasn't always this way. And I got to be real with everybody that's here. What Khang's talking about with resilience and perseverance, you know, when I first got into this business, y'all, I started like a lot of you guys at the back of a seminar. And I was, you know, I just remember I signed up for one of these cool programs. And I was super excited thinking I was going to meet the author to one of my favorite books called Rich Dad. And when I went to that program, I'll never forget it, right? Like, so at this time frame of my life, I was trapping out the back seat of my truck. So, you know, I sold weed. That was my first business. I'm not saying that because I'm proud. I'm saying that because I think that we all have a BC. I call it a before Christ, right? And so this is part of my testimony prior to me giving my life to Jesus. That's where I was, in a very, very dark place. And you know, I was living bill to bill. I had just got arrested for all the weed that I had. They took everything that I had, and all of the people that I was connected to found out about this. And so nobody wanted to mess with me. So I lost my business, which at the time I had been selling marijuana since I was 14 years old, all the way up until I was 22, 23, trying to figure out how I was going to get this business off of the ground. And so I wound it up at the back of a real estate seminar. It was $500 for that class. And it was 2 days. And there was an upsell at the end of it. And they were asking me for my credit card information. They were asking me to spend $75,000 for a coaching program. And dude, it just was not something that was tangible for me at the time. Like, I did not have 75 grand. I had $300 in my pocket and 2 ounces in my truck. Okay. So that's about as broke can get. I lived in the middle of the hood in San Antonio. I had a 2-story townhouse that was filled with illegal immigrants, and I was just one of the guys there that sold weed to everybody. And so, with this place that I grew up in, you know what I'm saying? It was like where I started my adventure. It wasn't where I started, but it's where I started my entrepreneurship adventure, moving into doing something legitimate for myself. For 2 years straight, dude, I was in the back of this class from 2013 to 2015, paying for this damn weekend class over and over again because it's all I could afford. And they only did it once every quarter. So I went 4 times a year. Finally, after a year and a half of trying to figure out a way to fix my credit, mind you, I'd never had a bank account before. My like people like me, man, we keep our money in our shoes. Right? The Converse have the 5s, the
I
Jordan,
didn't know that.
the Nikes have the 20s, the J's have the 100s in them. That was my bank in my closet, and that's how I kept
Hey,
track of the money that I made.
so basically, Q, you're basically part Asian because with Asian, dude, it's under the.
Bro, I've been told that I have some Korean in me, so who knows, man? I don't know. I heard that you can see it in my eyes, dude. I don't know. Yeah, to me, man, it was such a humble beginnings, really humble beginnings, And Khang, man, my dude grew up in a hut, straws were his roof. Like I've heard his story from where he came from, like coming to America with literally nothing and having to build all of this on his own and take care of his parents. It's such a beautiful thing, So like I resonate a lot with Khang. I relate to him a lot. I wasn't from another country, but I grew up here in San Antonio and been back and forth from Cleveland, Ohio. My dad was a hardcore drug trafficker. My mom, she was an alcoholic and trying to do her best to take care of all of us. And I'm one of 6 kids, y'all. So like all we have is my mom. She an orphan mother. She did her best to teach me how to be a man because my dad left my life when I was 12. And so, man, I feel like we're a generation of men raised by women these days. There's a lot of that happening, and it's honestly super depressing. But, it made me step up. I have 2 kids. I have a beautiful newborn daughter, and I have my 9-year-old son, and he's been learning real estate with me since he was about 4 years old. Wow. He's seen the whole thing. He's seen me make millions of dollars. He's seen me lose millions of dollars. He's seen me at my lowest. He's seen me at my highest, And so, like, we have to set that example for our kids, But that's where it started. And legit, somebody came up to me and they mentioned, like, Q, how come you haven't bought a property yet? After like a year and a half of sitting in the back of this classroom. And I said, I don't have any money and I don't have any credit and I've never had a bank account before. He said, Q, you don't need any of those things to flip a house. I said, what? I said, what? He's like, yeah, dude, you can wholesale your way all the way to $1 million. I'd never heard of wholesaling in my whole life. I've learned about bird dogging. I thought, okay, I tell a guy about this can of soda that I got right here, this sparkling water. And I paid $2 for this. I could sell it for $4 or tell somebody that I found it and they can buy it for X amount of money, right? So like I've heard of bird dogging, but I didn't know that you can control the contract. Literally about 4 months after that, I closed my first real estate deal. I made $2,100. And that started everything. My second one was 5. My third one was 10. I'd found out I was going to be a dad. I was super scared. I didn't want to sell weed anymore. By the time I was 26 years old, 27 years old, I decided to put the marijuana life behind me. That same month, I did $387,000 on one real estate deal that changed my life. And it was my landlord's house. Mind you, my landlord knew that I was trapping. He knew that I was slanging dope. And my agreement with this man, his name's Marcus, by the way. My agreement with this man was that I paid a year up front for my rent. Yeah. And that he would let me do whatever I wanted out of it as long as I wasn't hurting nobody. When you sell weed, you're not trying to kill people.
So hopefully your landlord wasn't your client.
He wasn't. He wasn't
Okay.
at all. He was he's honestly a very well-known old school real estate investor here in town who's been buying properties since the late 70s. He's old. Like he's old school. I think he's like 72 now. Okay. But he's one of my first mentors, And so he told me, he's like, Q, so what do you do? Because he was like, he asked me, he came pick up rent. He said, hi, Quinton. Now, mind you, when he talks just like this, right? Hi, Quinton, it's so good to see you. You ready to pay rent a year in advance? And then somebody behind's having a birthday says, ¿Cuántos años tienes? And just like, immediately changes to hardcore Mexican, right? And so like he's hardcore Mexican, but he has the whitest voice that you'll ever know. And his hair is silver gray. He's a beautiful dude, man. I loved him to death. I said, yeah, I'm into wholesaling. It's like, what is that? I've never heard of that before. I said, well, I find dilapidated properties for investors. And he was like, oh, I have one of those. He bought an apartment complex in 1988 for a little over $200,000, a 20 unit behind San Antonio College. And he said he wanted to sell it. I said, how much do you want for it? He said, I want $800,000. He was already making 5 times his money. I put it under contract. He didn't ask for any earnest money or anything. He was like a friend. And he was like, find me a buyer. And if this is the process, I'll let you put it under contract. But if I sell it on my own, just tell me, if you can't find nobody. So I said, sure. I had ads up on Zillow, like fake ads. I didn't know how to find buyers. So I put fake houses up on Zillow and people were calling me. I'd be like, no, man, Khang, that house actually sold, but how are you? It's exactly how it was. Hey, dude, when I say we bootstrap this, all right? Yeah. We may have not have had all the resources, but we had a computer, a cell phone, and a dream, baby. You know what I'm saying? Let me get an amen if you're watching this.
Amen.
So I tried with whatever I could. So this is what I was taught. This is what I did. One of those guys that answered my call, he said, well, do you have anything else? I said, I have an apartment complex. He said, let me go take a look at it. And so I did. Went over there, took a look at it. And he offered me a little over 1.2 for that property. Damn. I think after everything with the double close, my seller had to go up in price. There were a few other people involved. I walked away with $387,000 net to me. And that one put me on the news. That one got me on RIAs, like on stages speaking. That one put me out of poverty, man. That was the best Christmas I ever gave my son that year. I bought my baby mama a car, brand new. I bought myself a brand new car. We upgraded our lives. I moved out and got me a way nicer place than what we were staying at in the hood. I paid off all of my probation debt. I didn't get off of parole until I was 28 years old. So I got rid of all of that. And man, it just went all in, dude. I still didn't, this time I didn't know what I was doing. I just kept taking action and learning as I made mistakes. Really, like that's all I did. Bought bandit signs. Paid for direct mail. That didn't work. Bandit signs actually worked. Found a list on downtown, started working with the county, found attorneys. Attorneys started leading me to different places to find real estate deals. I talked to tax attorneys, evictions attorneys, divorce attorneys, probate attorneys, every type of attorney you can think of, giving me all these dope leads. And I would just go and I'd knock on all the doors, man, and just, yo, I'm trying to buy your damn house, man. Hey, look, you trying to sell it? I know you're going through the situation. What's up? And I bootstrapped my way. 2017 was the first year I ever did $1 million. And that was like the start of everything. I didn't know that I had a gift to speak, let alone share the testimony. But 2017, I made $1 million. 2017, I lost all of it. 2018, I got my family back. 2019, 2020, I was starting to build my whole operation, opened up my first office, met my first private money lender, lent me money to open up the office. From 2020 to 2023, I ran that whole thing up. We had a big operation doing deals in all 50 states. And then again, about 22, 23, I had a business go upside down where I had to file for bankruptcy and I lost $17 million. And so that right there almost killed me. At the end of the year of 2023, after losing everything and having to sell half my portfolio, I had a heart attack. And so, man, that changed everything, because I died and I came back. And I truthfully believe that the Lord gave me a second chance. I was overweight extremely, man. And I started going to the gym thinking that was going to make me healthy. Within a 5-year period of time, from 2020 to 2025, I've lost over 200 pounds in that time frame. And I'm in the gym 5 days a week. I do strength training, powerlifting, muscle hypertrophy, strength training in cycles. I have meal preps in my fridge. I'm juicing. I do everything you guys can think of, from hormone therapy to overall health. I'm talking about body functionality here. And so that has literally changed my life, but it didn't change everything because I still felt empty. 2023, I was so stressed, I had a heart attack. And when I came back from it, I decided to give my life to Jesus. And from that point, which has been like January 2024 to where we're at now, I'm currently in training to become a pastor. I'm in ministry training. And I'm super excited to even tell Khang that. He has no idea, So like, not only do I love real estate, not only do I teach real estate, Khang and I, we're partners in a lot of things in the backside. Like we don't have any businesses together, but we're always exchanging information because we're in the same masterminds. And so it's really cool to just meet someone like Khang who's inspiring me to be even better coach, because this guy is the coach. He was one of my first mentors. I didn't even realize it. I watched all of his YouTube channel and I modeled a lot of what I built on YouTube off of his content when I run out of ideas. How Khang comes up with ideas all the time is just beyond me, dude. It really is. Like, I'm pretty creative, but Khang is like creative. Like, I would have never thought of that, And so like, it's been so cool, like really just following in the footsteps of somebody who's a great mentor. Because even people like myself, who people consider a mentor, have mentors, and Khang is one of mine. you know? And so like, it's just an amazing thing to be here now and to be on this podcast, to be talking about my journey and what I've gone through to get to this point. Because man, I mean, it wasn't always like this. It wasn't like where I was stable, where I had my own house, and I've made it big. And I've also lost it big. I almost died in the process, you know? So like, I teach people how to scale and how to scale with stability and predictability and profitability, because you shouldn't go broke trying to get rich in this business. And I think a lot of people make that mistake at the beginning, because that's where I was, you know, and a lot of times people think, okay, well, more softwares means that we'll do more deals. No, man, you just need to pick one software, kingdata.ai. That's it. Nothing else. We're going to go all in on this thing, and we're going to hone in. We're going to master this, and we're going to do exactly what Khang is telling us to do, playbook by playbook. You don't need 100 mentors to get your first deal. You just need one person who's done it and follow exactly what they did, because they put the playbook out there for the last 5 to 8 years. You go back on Khang's page. I don't know if y'all been inside of Khang's group on the other side. There's a whole course, right? So I went and I watched about maybe 50 plus videos of Khang from the beginning to the end. And my dude has no idea that if you just structure this, he's already filmed the courses. So I took it and I made a course inside of Khang's community that's part of the group, okay? And it's everything that you need, A to Z, to learn how to master that phone. Because if you master that phone, that's what's gonna save you. If you learn how to talk right, how to structure a real estate deal, how to present an offer, how to pivot when you're hit with an objection, and the psychology of what it is to get somebody to sign a contract on behalf of selling their property, simultaneously negotiating with a buyer. Guys, it's all out there already. Khang's already done it. The videos are already there. And I made it in course format, so there's no missing now. Like, everything that you need to see is there. And dude, I don't know if you saw this, Khang, but one of your students inside of the community, so he's in mine too, right?
Yeah.
He sent me a video and was like, hey, Q, I just locked up my first contract doing exactly what you said to do to find foreclosure leads in Khang's community. And I watched all of Khang's cold calling videos to lock it up. I said, come on, bro. Like, seriously, look at God, right? And so, dude, this is where we're at now. You know, my goal is that I'm able to end suffering for every single human being that I come into contact with, spiritually, physically, financially. That's what God created me to do, you know? And so like being on this podcast is my opportunity to not just show you guys how to make money, but also show you how to lead you to Jesus, and also how to lead you to financial freedom. Those are very beautiful things for me, man. So yeah, I'm honored, but that's my story. That's where I come from.
Bro, dude, Q, I have so much question for you, bro. Dude, I have so much question for you that I need you to break down a lot of stuff here.
Let's go.
But first off, I want to say, dude, it is truly an honor to have you on here, man. And dude, thank you so much for all the kind words that you have given me and blessing me, bro. But I did a video and I said, hey, if I were to go back in time and not know anything about real estate, like a newbie, the top 3 mentor that I would get, Q is one of them. Q is going to be the top 3 mentor, dude, that I would follow and listen to. Because the way that this guy does every single one, guy, girl, mentor, whoever it is in real estate that you meet, have their own way of doing it. And the way that Q is doing it, dude, it's just very, very, I would say it's unique, and it's just very, very, very good. And whatever Q said about scaling out of business, dude, even if you're in a wholesale business, yes, you can scale yourself out of business. Okay. So whatever Q said, dude, I witnessed it. Now, not me. I'm grateful that I'm blessed, but I paid $30,000 to go into this real estate mastermind. And bro, you name it, we got 7-figure, 8-figure real estate investor that's in this mastermind. And yes, they scale themselves out of their own business. So dude, you need to learn these mistakes, not just how to make money, but how to avoid it as well. So Q, bro, your story, bro, Q, is absolutely amazing. Now, I started with nothing and I made it and haven't lost it and have to start over because, dude, I can't imagine being in that position. Because a lot of times, you know, Q, my mentor, when I first hired my mentor, I paid him over 6-figure.
Wow.
And he came on, he said, Khang, your first deal is very, very important because this guy's a fix and flipper. His name is Mike Fitzgerald, extremely famous in Hagerstown, Maryland. He's also 41 like me, bro, but he has... His net worth is probably 10 times more, and he owns.
Hold on. there is no way you're 41, dude. There is no way.
I am. Dude, bro, my mentor, dude, this cat is a beast. But anyway, Q, he said, Khang. So when I first got in, he teach me how to fix and flip. He said, Khang, your first fix and flip. I don't care if we have to break even, but we cannot lose money on it. Because he said most people that lose money on their first fix and flip deal, they never recover.
Yep.
Let alone you lost everything. Most people, once they hit, dude, they never bounce back. So Q, I want to ask you from your story, is what was the mistake that caused you to lose millions and have to start over, man? What was it?
3 things. And I want everybody here to really pay attention to me. Okay. So like, if you want to avoid filing for bankruptcy in your future and really having an actual income, I think it's what's beautiful about it is that I've been there. I know what it's like to produce $500,000 in gross company revenue for 3 months straight, each and every single day. That's where we were at. Okay. I had people that were willing to buy my business from me for over $100 million. They told me that it could be worth $1 billion organization, and I kept it. I may have kept it. I should have sold it. It's one of my biggest mistakes, knowing to exit a business. However, this is the thing. An economy doesn't destroy a business. An economy only reveals a business's weaknesses. Every single person that I meet that owns a company, they only plan for things to go right. Tell me any military friend that you know that has ever seen actual warfare. When they enter into a building, what is the first thing that they look for? The exits. So when we are in financial warfare, because that's what entrepreneurship is, as most of you guys that jump into this, a lot of y'all are starting from a place of what I would say survival, right? Because a lot of us were getting into wholesaling because we know that this is something that we can do, right? And it's low cost of entry. You have great people, lots of videos on YouTube, tons of mentorship. You can pick one person and run it. So what I love about wholesaling is that it's very fast. You can build capital very fast, right? But this is the thing. If you're going to get a business going, even if it's just wholesaling real estate, think about your exits and anything that you do, because not everybody is going to work in this business. Now, Khang and I are prime examples of seeing what the business can do for you when it works, right? But it doesn't mean that it's going to work for you. That doesn't mean that you give up and quit, but you should know when to pivot. And so having exits when things go right and when things go wrong are very important. That's number 1. Number 2, don't take your hands off the wheel too early. The last thing that you want to do is, like what Khang said, scale yourself out of your business. So many people that I meet don't want to do the work, so they pay someone else to do it, and they scale themselves out of their own business. If you know nothing about your own real estate company, you've got no business hiring people to do it for you, because nobody's going to respect somebody who's only a position-based leader, meaning I'm only listening to you because you're paying me. People will respect you when you have people development leadership, meaning like Khang and I will follow each other because of what we have done for another in the business realm. That's a very powerful thing that most people don't know, is that sometimes you have to develop yourself and then you develop other people, and you have what I would call people development leadership skills. Don't take your hands off of the wheel so soon. Don't think that just because you hit your first 6-figure month that you need to start hiring VAs and scaling out and taking your hands off of the wheel. You make the biggest mistake in your business doing that. And so if you do that, hire effectively, hire efficiently, and only delegate the tasks that you know that you are low income producing. So you keep your hands on the wheel no matter what. I once booked a call with a very well-known guru that a lot of people know, that's more of a life coach, right? And I was so surprised because me and this guy, we have things in common. He's actually been to prison. So when I signed up for his mentorship, I went through his funnel. I was ready to spend the money, $3,000. You get 2 calls with this gentleman. I was excited, because I'm already in the gym. I feel like I've done a lot for myself and I want to do more. I'm hitting a plateau. And so I'm thinking, I'm like, I go through everything, his whole funnel. I'm so excited, right? I'm like, I get to talk to somebody from this guy's team, right? And so I get on the phone, I get the call, it's at 3:00 and I'm there and I'm just waiting for it. And I get the call and the guy's like, "Hey, what's up, man?" And I'm like, "Wes?" And he's like, "Yeah, dude, who do you think was going to call you, bro?" I said, "No way. No way." I said, "What are you doing being on the phone with me? Like, bro, you're making $100 million plus every single month. what are you doing on the phone with me? And he's like, this is the thing with your generation, Q. And I'm 35, right? So like Khang's and from a hustling generation, right? Anybody that I've ever met over 40, they had a way harder life. I'm just saying, our life was semi-hard. People got it good these days now, all right? I think I was right at the cusp of it turning from hard to medium hard. Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, you know, and he's just like, this is the problem with your generation, Q, because he asked me how old I was, and I told him the time I was 33. He's like, this is the problem with your generation, Q. None of you guys want to do the work. None of you want to do the work. You say you do, but you rather pay someone else to do it. And then you make excuses saying that you don't got the time. That's such a powerful thing that I learned, because he's like, I know you see me out here with the Lamborghinis. I know you see me out here with all these nice things. You see me out here with all this stuff. Guess what? My hands are on the wheel. That's why I have this stuff. I don't trust nobody to handle my business yet. Until I'm a $1 billion organization, I take these calls. Blew my mind, right? Third thing, having the right people in your corner. As most of y'all that probably watch this, maybe a lot of you guys, and this is just me, maybe it's y'all too, right? Me and Khang are givers. Not just me, but Khang too. We give so efficiently. I'm just going to say this because this is important. So this is a package from Khang, right?
Hey, you got it.
Information, right? He didn't have to give me this, but he did, right? And so like, I just want to show you guys his heart for real. Like, this is so cool. No one's ever done this for me. Like, this is so cool. And, you know, this is a gift from Khang. Now, I'm not going to go into what it is, but I'm honestly just like blown away by it. So this is the thing. Know how to give, but give effectively. My pastor said, he said, Q, you are a great-hearted person. I love your spirit and your enthusiasm to help everybody that you come in contact with. I appreciate that about you, but you need to understand discernment. I said, what is discernment? Mind you, I'm not going to say that in my head. I said, what the heck is discernment? But he, you know, I was like, yeah, Pastor Ed, yeah. And I went home and I was like, what the heck is discernment? Because I didn't know what discernment was, right? And so in my head, you know, that's how I've always been. I'd be like, yeah, man, I understand, Pastor Ed. I love you, bro. What is discernment?
Yeah.
You know, so like, I went and I looked it up. So discernment is like when you know how to give and who to give and to give effectively. What do I mean by this? Right? So guys, you're going to have a lot of people when you start closing real estate deals that are going to present themselves to you. Everybody's going to want you to pour into them. You have to understand who to give your energy to and separating the leechers from the ones who are willing to reciprocate what you give to them. Because I promise you, you will leech yourself out of your own business, trusting everybody else to do the things that you know that you should be doing. So again, do what you do best and delegate the rest, but practice discernment and have the right people in your corner, because the givers, we have limits. The takers, they don't. So those are my 3 pieces of advice to anybody who's trying to avoid a total bankruptcy blowout, burning out a company and watching it light up in hellfire from a distance. It was pretty crazy.
Damn, Q, man. Those of you who's watching this, I don't know if you learn, but I learned, bro. Q, I've learned so much from that, and
right. I got people like discernment.
Yeah. And Q, when you say that, dude, so this brought me back to when I first got into my real estate career, man. And so I did the whole fix and flip for 4.5 years. Mm-hmm. And I can tell you right now, dude, I was the guy who was earlier when I tell you that I almost didn't lose, I almost lost everything and had to go bankrupt. Dude, I was dealing with Uncle Sam. Uncle Sam was on my ass. Now listen, those of you, dude, take care of Uncle Sam. Whatever Uncle Sam wants, dude, take care of Uncle Sam ASAP. Do not mess with Uncle Sam. But I was picking. See, I was brought up in. So, Q, I agree with you. Most of the kids that race up today are snowflakes.
Yep.
Dude, they take things for granted. They don't even know what a good dude. They had it so good that they're like, dude, what does a bad life look like? Bro, I was raised in a family where my parents and I said, hey, do not Khang, we don't receive anything from anybody if we don't deserve it. Which means if we haven't given value yet, shouldn't receive anything. So I went on TikTok Live today, or yesterday. The guy, or the other day, he was giving me, dude, I have to shut down TikTok Live. I said, dude, I said, bro, Devin, stop, dude. I can't. I haven't done anything for you. I cannot receive this gift, bro. And he wouldn't stop, so I have to get off the TikTok Live. Now that lead me into the story with Q. Dude, I've never seen. I've listened. I have I have what you call friend. Now, this is more like a business friend, right? Friend, and business friend, you guys, they're totally different.
Yep.
Friend that you hang out, that has no obligation, that don't want anything from, and they're a business friend. Business friend is like, hey, you do something for that, like it's like you scratch my back, I scratch your back kind of thing, right? And to me, there's nothing wrong with those kind of relationship, right? Business is business, friend is friend, but when you commingle with friends and money together, you just need to be clear, okay? So, dude, Q came out of nowhere. Dude, he shocked me. He's like, I expect this guy to be like, you know what, Khang, let me get someone that can jump on and show your team how to do this. He's like, Khang, I'll just do this for you. I said, wait, what? I said, bro, like you got a multimillionaire, right? It's like, I'll go in there and do it for you. I said, dude, this guy is busy. And listen, I paid $30,000 to go into this mastermind. None of those guys would just jump in my team and just do it for me. What they do is they sent me to their team, and obviously I understand, right? I mean, listen, I'm also a business owner. I'm also an entrepreneur as well. So I have team too, so I understand.
Yep.
Like, I never done anything like that for anybody, right? And here this cat will do it for me. And I say, dude, this cat is like next level, man. And
hey, Angie's great. Shout out to Angie, by the way. She's great. And that's part of Khang's team. Just got to give her some love while we're on the live.
Hey, love it, man. And the thing is, what Q said here, I want you guys to really, really understand. And recently, for the last pass, I would say this year, dude, I mean, listen, I ain't going to lie, dude. Business has changed, and it changed fast with, from social media to AI to, technologies. And what Q said is, dude, you got to keep your hands on the steering wheel, which means, bro, everybody wants to grow and escape, scale and escape. Bro, sometimes you scale and you just escape forever, which means you ain't coming back, bro. So which means you want to scale and escape, but dude, you always want to have a pulse on your business. You need to know the in and the outs of your business, what's going on. And this is what got me, dude. I was the guy who wanted to grow and escape. Because you hear all these people online, man, delegate, grow and escape. And, and I was trying to grow too. So my first business Q that I almost had to file bankrupt, bro. It was, dude, Q in my life. I don't even know what depression is. I've always been like, even though I'm an introvert, but I've always, I don't know what depression is, right? But that time in my life, Q, I felt depression. I was like, dude, why can't this just end? If this doesn't end, why can't my life just end? Because I can't handle this pain anymore. Because I don't know what to do. And my biggest thing, Q, it wasn't about me. It was about like, how do I say this to my wife? Because Lon depend everything on me. She's like, she trusted me.
Yep.
Right? All of our finance and everything. Like, she trusted me to like, dude. And then all of a sudden I got ourselves in a mess where I'll be like, Khang, I'll be like, Lon, we'll probably have to go back to the shed. And worst of all, we have to go bankrupt. So for me, it's like, how can I bring this news to her? And that, Q, is what crushes me. And that makes me depressed. Because I got someone that I love, trusts me so much, and I don't even know how I got myself in this situation. My biggest thing was I was trying to grow too fast, too quick. Right? I was trying to grow too fast, too quick, just like you said, Q. I didn't have my foundation in place.
Yep.
I was competing, dude. I was competing with other investors. Instead of focused on my own lane, my own journey, Q, I was looking at what Q was doing. What? Q's doing 100K a month? What the hell? I'm doing 10K. Screw it. I'm gonna do whatever. Like these investors were doing. Like I was doing a couple deals a year, right? These investors were doing a couple deals a month, and I was like, dude, if I want to be successful, I gotta be like them. Why am I only doing 1 or 2 a year? I need to be doing 3 to 4 a month. But you see, I didn't know how long they've been in the game. I didn't know that they have the team, the infrastructure, the capital in place. And I'm a cat that just new into the game, and I was just so basically I'm trying to compare my chapter 1 to their chapter 10. And that's what happened. I was trying to grow too fast, too quick, and then bam, and then God slapped me in the face and said, "Khang, bro." And then that's when obviously I discovered wholesaling, and it saved my ass. But now Q. With that all aside, dude, first off, Q, dude, I had, bro, after listening to your story, man, my respect for you, dude, is even next level.
I appreciate it, man.
Because like I said, Q, most people that lose on a deal, that get burned can never come back.
Yep.
Dude, you need to understand, for regular people to go from 0 to 1 million, dude, you just Google it. Barely. Like, those people are like 0.1%.
Yep.
And everybody out here all talking shit like, oh, I'm going to be the next billionaire. Bro, do you even know how much it takes, bro?
Yeah.
You haven't even made your first $10,000 a month, and you're out here talking smack. And most people, like I said, when they lose it, they never come back. They just disappear because it just hurt. It's just too hard.
Mm-hmm.
And for you to bounce back, Q, and bounce back even better, looking better, bank account looking sharper, dude, health, wealth, fitness, family, and everything, dude, to be, bro, this comeback, bro, the comeback is what I respect, bro. Because
this one's personal, bro. It really is. And honestly, man, like, I have to give thanks to Jesus, brother. I would not be anything without that. That was the thing that saved me. You know what I'm saying? And like this, it's so crazy because I know I'm meeting you, Khang, over like the last few years. We've talked a little bit, right? My ego was so huge. 3 years ago, you wouldn't want to be my friend because I just thought I was greater than anybody I talked to. And I didn't know how to have humility. And a lot of it, most guys like you and I, you know, that have gone through so much in our lives, it's like we have something to prove. And when we finally prove it, there are certain people like myself that'll let that get to their head and we forget where we came from, you know? And so like, man, the heart attack thing was the most humbling thing that I've ever gone through. And I thank God so much for giving me that opportunity to experience that. I have to live with a heart disease for the rest of my life. I have a heart disease and it may one day kill me, Khang. But you know what, man? I wasn't thinking about what was in my bank account when I was dying. That's not what I was thinking about. I was thinking about the times that my son, as he grow up, where am I? Like, if I would have died, where would I have been? Who would we have leaned on when he goes through his first heartbreak? Who would my baby mom lean on when she didn't get an entrepreneurship person like me who actually set the ground so that she could be wealthy? You know what I mean? Like, my daughter, what kind of man would she fall in love with if she didn't fall in love with her father first? You get what I'm saying? Because as a dad, you set the foundation for the type of man that your daughter will allow in her life. Because in every man that she decides to be with, she's going to look for pieces of you, right? Where would I be right now if I died and I lost those things? So all the money in the world, all the fame that I've accumulated throughout the years would have meant nothing to me because I wouldn't have those moments. You know what I'm saying? And so the level that I'm playing at right now is so astronomical, and it's not even on a monetary level. The money follows because of where I'm at mentally, spiritually, and I'm operating on kingdom principles right now. You don't need a personal development book. You don't need a fancy quote online about motivation, bro. You just open up your Bible and let me tell you something about God's word. It will speak to you in ways that you'll realize that if there was ever anything morally correct that anybody has ever mentioned in regards to resilience, in regards to overcoming hardships, in regards to making mistakes and coming back from them, it all derives from the Bible, bro. That's the reality of it. If you want to build a multi-million-dollar wholesale business, you need to get in that Bible because that is what will change you. People don't know that there are wealth building principles in this book that have been tried and tested and true for the last 2,000 plus years across 5,800 different manuscripts. And so I know it sounds crazy to be talking about God on a wholesale type podcast. I'm sorry, but I will always boast about my faith because if not for that, what do I have?
Same.
I could lose everything. And as long as I have that I'm wealthier than anybody that you know that walks around with Lamborghinis and money, bro. I'm just being honest, you know? And so like true wealth comes from within. And a lot of you guys, you blocking your blessings by not realizing these things. You know, if you just step into who God has called you to be, because by no chance are you on this podcast. Like if you're listening and you're watching this right now and you're one of the few that's actually here at this moment, going in 30, 40 plus minutes, there is a reason for that. You didn't step on Khang's YouTube channel by chance. This is all a divine intervention on your life where God is trying to lead you somewhere where you can go and do the same thing that Khang and I did because we've done it. We have the map. Faith is in the evidence. Matthew's, right? Faith is in the evidence. So there's no, like, this isn't just theory. This isn't something that we're thinking is true. This is real. The evidence has already been there. You can go back 8 years into Khang's channel right now, and you will see everything from the beginning to where he's at now, because he's documented everything. That's all the validation that you need. You don't need your mom to tell you that you can do this. You don't need your dad to believe in you. You don't need your brother, sister, or anybody. You just need one person who's done it with the track record to go back and see it. It's just like the Bible, bro. You go back 2,000 years of documents that have been written, and you see truth about yourself. I promise you, you go back 7 years into Khang's page, you will close a deal. If you just watch everything this man has ever said and just follow it to the T, you will close a deal, because faith is not just something that we believe in that we can't see. It's in the evidence of things that we can prove, and the track record is there. So stop blocking your blessings. Go on the damn YouTube channel. Watch freaking 20 videos one day. Watch 40 videos the next day. Take what he's saying, implement it, run with it, and have faith that God put Khang in his position to carry you to where you're trying to go. Because that right there is in the position. Like, that's in position already. So just remember that, man. And that's something I wish I would have done a long time ago, bro, was just lock in on the Lord, lock in on what God's trying to call me to do, and move with principles that came from the kingdom itself. So that's my advice on that, my bro.
Man, Q. Listen, after Q said that, my whole thing is like, obviously I don't talk much about God and things like that. But I am a believer, right? I am a believer, dude. I mean, I wouldn't be here doing what I do if it weren't for baby Jesus, bro. To be honest, the darkest time of my life, dude, the darkest time when I said there's only 2 people that were there with me. One was God. The other one is the wifey, dude. And I wouldn't be here without them. So amen to that. Now, Q, this is my next thing to you, man. If you didn't tell me about your whole ego, I like, this guy's so down to earth. What do you mean by ego? There's no way this guy would have an ego. So the other day, Lon was just talking to me, and Lon's like, Khang, you know that you're not the same anymore, right? I'm like, what do you mean? She's like, Khang, I don't know if you've seen some of your last year or 2 year, but you turn out to this. You kind of like an ass, bro. You have this. No, dude. I like. Listen, Q. I mean, I want this podcast just to lay it out and just to talk like how it is. And I said, really, Lon? Like, a lot of time when we look at us, we don't see that there's any changes. But she's like, Khang, like, dude, like, if you go back to your YouTube, Khang, like, you were like nicer, the way that you talk. She's like, you sound like an ass now. Like, she's like, maybe you need to change, Khang. Maybe all of a sudden, like, all these things that's getting to you, and maybe your ego is getting in the way. I was like, Lon, I don't have an ego, man. Like, Lon and I got in an argument because you brought the whole ego up, and me and her literally got into a fight because she said that my ego has taken. I said, no, whatever. But anyways, Q, if you didn't mention that, dude, I wouldn't think that you're a man with an ego. You seem like a cat that anybody can get along with, and that obviously, I wouldn't use the word ego to match with Q. That's all.
It's crazy, Khang, because I know what you're talking about. There's confidence, and then there's ego. 2 entirely different things. All right. One of them is working in your favor. The other one's working against you. The main thing to practice is humility. That's the most important factor here. Did Jesus walk around screaming out that he was the Son of God? For sure. Did it ruffle some feathers? Absolutely. But there's a difference between walking in your truth, because what he said was true, and there's a difference between walking in a lie. There are a lot of people that are out here, bro, that have egos that are lying about what they do. And, man, we don't measure sin, right? So, like, if you go and kill somebody, that's a sin, right? But if you don't pay your taxes, that's equivalent to not killing somebody. If you go and lie, that's equivalent to not killing. That's equivalent to killing somebody, because we don't measure evil deeds. It's all the same. Back then we'd be stoned. Nowadays, there'd be people that would be stoned for going out here and saying that they're doing all of these things, but they aren't actually doing it because it was a lie. It's called the law of Moses. And so again, when we go back into all of this, man, ego is 2 different parts. One of them is big head, beat on my chest, raw, I'm the best. The other one is confidence. So how you carry yourself now is dependent on that. And this is the thing, is that nobody can tell you what it looks like. Only you understand what it looks like, because it's you looking at things through your own perspective. But man, I tell you, dude, there was a time when I was using God to just get people to buy my products, dude. That's how crazy I can speak on it. Like, I know that sounds wild to say, but there was a point in time when if I wanted you to like me, I would use God to do that. That's the ego. And I know that sounds crazy, but I didn't actually believe. I just wanted you to think that I believe because I wanted you to follow me. That's what I used to be. And I can say that because I can speak in my truth with not a single bit of evil in my heart now. That when I mention it, that's the only thing that's important to me. You know what I'm saying? And I think that in time, most people who've never lost everything or have never built anything great and then went and lost it all, it's hard for them to relate to this, right? Because you're not walking around with ego, Khang. I think that you walk around with confidence. And you also have an extreme belief in people that could sometimes frustrate you when people don't meet those expectations and standards, because you see yourself in other people a lot. That's why you do what you do. I mean, I don't know if you guys know this, but Khang has a group that's so low ticket right now, you'd be stupid to not be in it. It's $19, right? I don't know if he's raising the price soon, but
we're here to talk about Q. Hold on a second, Q. We're here to talk about Q, not about King Kong here. So, Q, let's go ahead. Okay, let's go because we're running out of time here. And obviously,
okay. Well, what I just want to say, Khang, is that your confidence is leading people to close deals.
Thank you, bro.
Don't shy away from who you are, because it's the most beautiful thing in the world, bro. You inspire me to be a better leader. Okay. And this is coming from somebody who's a damn good leader telling you this. All right.
Thank you so much.
There's confirmation from the wifey. Yeah. It means you just got to tweak some things. That's all, bro.
Well, the thing she said, Khang, you like, if you go back, you know, you used to not saying, hey, get rich or be a little bitch. And all of a sudden now you say that. And so she's like, and then you get on and then when I see you get on these live, you went really hard on them. You'd be like, hey, this and that. And I say, well, I mean, like, I don't know how else to say it. Like, I was brought up in a family that's tough love. You know, my whole thing is when people say ego, I know we're going down this whole different realm here. But to me, when people say ego, Q, to me, I honestly don't even know what ego means. But when people say ego, to me, that's what it means. It means that you always walk around thinking that you're better than everybody. That you're like, you know, and those people, dude, I see a lot of those people at CG, which is, you know, CG or other mastermind that I go to.
Mm-hmm.
And I see those people. But anyways, Q.
It's like a dick measuring concept.
Yeah, pretty much. So Q, let's set that aside and let's talk about this, man. Now let's go ahead and drop some bomb here, okay?
Okay.
Let's go ahead and drop some bombs. So Q, no, obviously you went through the ups, the downs, made it, lost it, made it back, bigger now. So if I was someone who was just new into the game, who want to get into the game, knowing what you know today, right? If you were to go back in time and do it all over again, just give me some simple few steps that I can do today that can get me going in the right directions to help me closing that first wholesale deal. Okay?
100%. If I could, for everybody here, if you don't know how to use your county, that's where you're sleeping. Legit. If you don't know how to use your county, you're sleeping on the biggest gold mine. If we're talking practicality, aside from everything that we talked about in this podcast, if you made it to this point, this is the moneymaker part. And it's very important that everybody here pays attention. There's 3 places that you need to look for real estate deals in your area, and it's specific from the county. So wherever county that you're in, they have portals like this. The first one is your county clerk. Your county clerk is where the offices record specific documents that are associated with real estate. So again, what are we looking for here? Liens, judgments, lis pendens, affidavits of heirship, probate filings, divorce filings, tax lien foreclosures, substitute point of trustees. These are different documents that you can find at the county that represent a level of motivation that somebody is going through. Now, why do I say the county over like a software? Is because the softwares typically have a lag on them. They have about like maybe a month or 2 lag. Some of you guys will download a pre-foreclosure list from like any software that you can think of, and you'll notice that it might be lagging 2 to 4, maybe sometimes a month. And so you call that person, they say, hey, Mr. Flores actually already lost that house. Wish you would have called me earlier. That's not what you want. You want people that are going through motivation today. So the county clerk offices is going to be recording real estate documents every single day. And those filings either get uploaded to a portal that you can get access to, or you just walk down there, man, and grab what you want and go. Put them into a freaking spreadsheet, upload them to a dialer, skip trace them, cold call them, run that play. That's one. Play number two, very important for everybody here, your open records request portal. This is where you guys can pull leads directly from your code compliance offices, which record everything that happens in San Antonio, even police departments. They're typically seen as one place. So this is the place where you can request what you want. So you can go in, create an account, it's free, it's online. Every county has one. I don't care how small your county is or how big it is. And you just create an account. Then there's going to be a little place where you can email them and you have to submit a formal letter. You can use ChatGPT to write it. You want a list of properties that have active code enforcement violations against them. These are people that are not keeping up with their homes. You want a list of houses where the utilities are shut off. These are people where there's no the utilities on in the house that may still live there. You want a list of properties with overgrown grass. You want a list of properties with holes in the roof. You want a list of fire damaged properties and water damaged properties. Those are the types of leads you can get. And I will also say from your police department, recent arrests. If somebody's on their fourth DWI and they own a house on 123 Main Street, I'm sorry, but they're looking at prison time, my guy. They need to sell that house. And if you know that the arrest happened at their property, the house is going to be associated with that arrest record. So you can pull those from the police department. People that are arrested for their third murder, second murder, first murder, I don't know. It could be any reason. You just want arrests because those are means for motivation. You know, what are they thinking about when you call them? Their problem, and their problem's happening now. Third place, tax assessor collector or tax treasurer. It's called something different where you're from. It's the name of your county. This is where you can pull leads that are delinquent on taxes. You can get 4 types of lists from this one place if you know how to pull the data. You can get active probate. You can get senior owners. You can get people who own properties that are disabled. You can get houses that have a lingering estate. And you can get active military or retired military as well, all from one list. And this is your tax delinquency list, which you can stack with all the other ones together to create a high probability lead. And then you go after them. Those are the best places to learn how to get real estate leads. If you master those, you will run circles around anybody in your county, my friend. You will literally dominate. That's what I do in my market. That's how I find real estate deals. We'd be closing 5 to 10 a month consistently for years without a big team, without a giant office. I'm just at home the way Khang is. I have my own office too, but I'd be doing this from home, man, from my cell phone. And once you learn how to rock your county, you're going to develop a skill set that's going to transcend 90% of your competition. Because everybody today, like me and Khang were talking about earlier, snowflakes. They don't know how to do this kind of work. They rely on softwares and subscriptions. Now, the softwares and subscriptions are supposed to give you an edge. When you combine the hard work with the software and subscription, man, you can scale everything. I'll take a pre-foreclosure list that I get from the county. Yep. I'll dump it straight into King data and get all of my phone numbers. I'll export that and go straight into my dialer, and I'll start cold calling them. I guarantee you I'm gonna get a deal on my first step. Me and Khang talking about going live and cold calling people. If we anything, we'll do that. I don't know. We'll see. All I'm saying is that what I like about this is that the motivation's now. You want the freshest data. Learn this when I was selling weed, Khang. If I bought weed from you, bro, you ain't gonna sell it to me without making money, right? You ain't. You gotta make money, right? Right. But then how do I find good weed? Like weed that's better than one you selling to me. So I gotta find the guy who's growing it. Yeah. I gotta find the guy who's growing it. So if I find the guy who's growing it and I go over there and I buy it, not only am I gonna get it at a discount, I'm gonna get it fresh out the ground, baby. And that's exactly what real estate is. Your county clerk, that's your grow guy. Okay.
Hey. So if I follow exactly what you tell me to do, right? If I lock in, I stay committed, I put in the work. What is your I'm the guy who have the work ethic, who's going to commit, who's actually going to do this, okay? And I'm going to do it consistently. Do you believe that with that method that I can close the deal within the next 30 to 60 days?
You'll get a motivated seller on day 1, contract in 1 week. You'll close your first deal within 4 weeks. No doubt.
Oh, listen, okay, guys, we're running out of time. But for those of you who wants to learn more about this, like I said, Q has a very, very unique strategy. I don't do that, okay? So that's why I'm like, wait, what? So you guys need to understand he has a very, very unique strategies on how he do this kind of work, okay? And how he get these deals and how he's able to create and build a 7-figure wholesaling operation. So Q, for those that wants to learn more, I know, Q, that you have a school community. Bro, 3 Starbucks coffee, bam. I don't know if Q has increased the price or not, but damn, everybody wants to be in on his school community, man. I'm even in his school community, okay? To learn from the best of the best, all right? And that's what it is, man. teacher just teaching teacher. And one day the students will become the teacher. So some of you might be watching this. One day, man, you will become the teacher. Okay, but before you can become a teacher, you got to be a good student, and you got to learn from the teacher. So Q, how can I go and connect with you, first of all, and also to be a part of your badass school community, man? Because that's where the game is at, truly, guys.
Look us up, man. Real Estate Cheat Codes on School. We have over 300 members. I've been teaching this across the globe, and it's been amazing. We have people that are doing this strategy in other countries. So when I say across the globe, that's not a mistake, right? So that's what we do. You know what I'm saying? I love teaching the county. I love teaching curative title. It's how I started in the game. And I truthfully believe that it's making a huge comeback because no one's doing it this way anymore. And you guys can follow me at Real Quinton Flores across all platforms, man. Uncut with Q podcast. Khang will probably be my next guest. I'm just super happy and thankful that you allowed me to be on your page, bro. Really, it means a lot to me.
Q, thank you so much. Once again, when I tell you guys the strategy that's Q teaching, I ain't doing it. I don't know how to do it, okay? I'll be I don't know how to do his strategy. So if you want to learn his strategy on how to do it, I'll drop the link, which is going to be my affiliate link to Q School. But honestly, guys, like I said, when I say that he's the top 3 mentor, if I would start over in real estate not knowing, and I want to get into wholesaling, Q's the top 3 mentor that I would get connect with and learn from. Once again, I'll drop the link to Q School community right in the descriptions. Join. Dude, I promise you, you're not going to regret it. The investment that you put into yourself, into your self-education, into your business, it's never the wrong move. It's never the wrong move. When you bet on yourself, dude, you will always win. You have to have the conviction and the belief that you are going to execute the information that you're going to receive. And listen, one piece of information, one connection that you get from his school community, dude, easily $10, $20, $30,000 payday. Q, thank you so much, man. It's such an honor. Once again, bro, I am extremely, extremely grateful, man, to have you on here. And, bro, to finally call you a friend, dude. Thank you so much, Q.
It, man. Thank you, bro. I'll see you on the next one, my friend.
Q, let's what? Let's go get this
money.